I'm delighted to be here with Gianneskis, Communications Director for Greece, Cyprus and Bulgaria at IKEA House Market. Ada, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mary. It's always a pleasure to be here and always a pleasure to see you. I have to say that.
Thank you very much. I feel the same way.
Mm.
Ada, IKEA is one of these brands that are consistently perceived by consumers as being meaningfully different. And our Brandsy database showed that it's this ability that you have to maintain greater different perceptions than are expected for your brand size that has accelerated your growth over the years. Please tell me about your journey towards finding your meaningful difference and how, very importantly, you managed to remain vibrant, relevant, and a brand that appears to be at the top of its game year after year, decade after decade. How do you do it?
Mary, to be completely honest and having full disclosure, it's quote unquote easy, I can say sometimes, because our product is a product for the home, right? So the home already is very emotional. Heart, the home is where the heart is. So already we have like a foot in. We're not talking about products that we have to create the need. The need is already there. So that kind of helps. So if we do our job properly, we're already working on a very solid and emotional and important base. And then what we see in general, because we always go back to surveys, always. So it's an amazing thing that we're talking together today. People all around the world, whether the homes are big, whether they're small, whether they have a lot of rooms, smaller rooms, the needs are sort of always the same. So you want a functional home, a home that works well, that it helps your everyday life. And no matter how much space you have or how much limited space you have, the challenges are always the same. So I think that organization and the functionality are always these challenges that you might have. And that's where we come in. And I think where we remain vibrant and different in how we create this added need is that we have vast home furnishing knowledge. So it goes back to the DNA of the brand. You have a very unique range, and an IKEA unique and identifiable range. But in general, if you take it, a sofa is a commodity. You can find a sofa anywhere. Or a bed is a commodity, a mattress is a commodity. Yes, you have to have the technical information in there and make it a bit better. But in general, the range is the range. Furnishing, home furnishing is furnishing. But it's how you take that product, that range, and make it specifically different and functional. And that goes into the home furnishing knowledge we have. So on one hand, we have very strong home furnishing knowledge. On the other hand, we go deep into insights of what people want, what their dreams are, what their needs are, and put that together and give the offer that people actually want, and do it in a fun and not taking ourselves too seriously way. Because when you take it at the end of the day, we're not open heart surgeons, we're not brain surgeons, we sell furniture. So it's how you make that we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're not the most important in the world.
Excellent. I love this, but I keep this, but also the deep knowledge and the diagnosis. Yes. So in our Diary of a CMO, we give tips to marketers about how they can make allies in the business, how they can fluently speak the CFO language. And it all comes down to one thing, we think. One needs to look beyond the typical advertising metrics and instead make it their mission to look at the health of the business in a similar way that an investor does, a CFO does. What techniques do you use to ensure that you're speaking the same language in the C-suite?
I think the time when we found out about econometrics, whether it's called Lift ROI or whatever it might be called, that's when we got a seat at the table. That's when we started talking the same language, and it wasn't about the fluffiness of communication, because you're talking to a CFO at that time. You need to speak the same language. And by using all these things, I think it started off, to tell you, the journey started off with digital marketing. Digital advertising and all that part had the KPIs behind. You know what you gave in, you know what it brought back. But that opened our eyes in a sense. And then using whatever econometric model it might be, that gave us a seat at the table because we're speaking the same language. It's not fluffiness.
Yeah.
It's not, you're talking to the brain, right? And you're talking to the brain of a CFO that sees numbers. Now, the mission impossible, on the other hand, is on how you take all these KPIs, numbers, metrics, data, and create communication, on the other hand, that actually talks to people's hearts.
Yeah.
So that, in a sense, is the mission impossible, because people will never forget how you made them feel. So when your communication is impactful in an emotional way, not a crying or haha way, but a way that makes them feel something, then they tend to remember it even more. So the balancing act of the CMO is taking data, which might be considered boring, and kind of get the in of the CFO, the CEO, the whatever, get more funding out of it, because that's the key. When I started using econometrics, my budget increased because I was talking the same language, right? So you get that out of it because it has an ROI. I'll bring that effectiveness, that efficiency behind on the table, and I'll bring you this, and it's confirmed that I brought you this. And then how I take that extra funding or extra whatever it might be and challenge it and shift it to a communication that makes an impact to the market to get people in, to bring in the money, and that vicious circle that keeps going on and on.
Brilliant. So speak the same language and your budget
Speaking
will
the same
increase.
language. Yes, you're speaking the same language, and you put your money where your mouth is, in a sense.
Brilliant. Yes. But it's tougher out there, right? So it's a tougher environment, and I think we're all feeling it. It's a shaky macroeconomics, tariffs, continuous volatility. We know that the uncertainty index is on the rise again. And on top of that, you are certainly not a monopoly anymore. So competition comes from everywhere, from traditional furniture stores, but it's also online players like Amazon, big box retailers in the US, Walmart, but also Tiger, Carrefour, even Lidl. I mean, how do you manage to stay resilient with such competition in an economic downturn?
If I can start with a parenthesis here, I think our three markets, the markets that I work for, Greece, Cyprus, and Bulgaria, it's been crisis upon crisis upon crisis upon crisis. So I think most of my adult life, we've been living through some sort of crisis where home furnishings were not a priority at all. So in the line of things, in this financial downturn, home furnishing was really down there. So it was, if I had money left over, I think in the consumer index, confidence index, it was last before mutual funds. So it's actually, there was no interest at all. So myself and my team at this point, and the whole organization knows how to work through very bad times, which is a tick in our boxes.
You've been trained.
But exactly. But other than that, yes, we're not a monopoly at all. And there might not be one head-on competitor for IKEA, but you have all these little or bigger piranhas eating at your skin, you know. So you have the specialized mattress stores, the specialized kitchen stores, the Temus, the Tigers, the whatever that kind of goes around you. I think the key in being meaningfully different is that, so you give a meaningful difference, you're differentiating meaningfully. And it goes back to the home furnishing knowledge. So we don't sell a bed. We don't sell a chair. It's how we put everything together to give you a better everyday life at home. So how we set up the bathroom, for example, and a bathroom is one of those areas that's an amazing pain point for all people, getting people in and out. It's not organized. It's not whatever. We don't only sell a box or a shelf. It's how you put it all together. And that goes back to having knowledge of your market and having knowledge of your range and combining everything together and giving that added value. So it's not only a stale product, giving the inspiration, giving the ideas, giving the functionality. So I think it goes back to that. And putting the customer, in a sense, in the heart of everything, because happy customer, happy company. So, you know, giving that added value to it.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining me, Ada. And it's wonderful to see how you put it all together. And it's great to see. I always enjoy seeing your high, meaningfully different salient scores in our database. And may I say, as a consumer, I still get that virtual pat on the back whenever I build something. So it's been a delight having you with me today. Bye, Ada.
Bye. Thank you. It was great.